Hey guys, Zethrion here, recording a new video about the joint battle for Friday and Saturday, which is Angelica's Guardians. I've heard that a few people have trouble with the level 58 and the level 60 versions of this. Generally, it's because of the upper right spawn, so today I'm going to show how to deal with that. This is the team composition we're going to bring. It can be done as a duo or as a trio. Generally what you will need is Leon Ledin for the first player, Liana Leon for the second player, and for the third player you can bring Bozo and Liana. So we're just gonna start. We just show how it's done. So this part is the most, so the beginning is actually the most critical part, because if you screw up the first wave, you sort of instantly lose. So we're gonna chivalry up. We are going to hit Elwin. And I'm gonna move him here, so that we can come down. Even if you don't have boots, you can still move Leon to this position. We're gonna hit this Lancer General with a full charge distance of 5. We're gonna almost but not quite kill him. Okay. So you'll see why we bring Bozo later, but his slot is the most flexible. You can bring anything else. A third DPS like Sherry, for example, Elwin, but generally be like units with 5 mobility because of the hit and run nature of this map. So which is why we prefer Leons and Sherrys. Bozo has a unique role. Initially it was because my partner Champ didn't have a good Sherry, but even now that he does, we find he's got quite a lot of utility for the later part of this. Okay, so this part is an important part. Next round when Angelica moves, she's going to trigger the wave over here, where I'm pointing now. So where Ledin needs to stand to tank this is actually over here. Having Sage on him is actually optional. And I think you can see that we can't Sage him even if we wanted to. Even with boots, I would still be 1 square short. But it's okay, you will see what I mean by that soon, once we trigger that wave. So the safe place for your DPS to be, for your Leons to be, will be either to the left and or below Ledin. So this is where they will not get hit by the enemies coming. So Angelica triggers the wave coming. And generally what will happen is Leon will charge forward, he will chivalry. Everybody's within guard range, so that's not a problem. So Leon will hit Ledin. My Ledin is not fully upgraded yet, so Leon survives. And you will get hit by the second flyer, who thankfully, even though you have movement down, actually doesn't attack Angelica, it attacks you instead. So we're just gonna finish off this wave of enemies. Okay, Ledin is really hurt, so I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to leave it to my partner to finish off that Leon. We're going to pray her up. So that's basically the most critical part of the JB, of the joint battle, over, which is tanking that wave and making sure all your units survive. So that standing in that tree is useful because of the number of enemies that can hit you, which is basically only 2 out of 3, and for the fact that it has a defense bonus as well. So we're going to position our Leons over here, and the main reason is so that we can block Angelica from moving. So a trick that I'm sure you have learned from previous joint battles is that she will stop here, in between where Leon is and the tree, and if there's someone to the right of her where Leon is standing, she's never gonna move. So you can block her off from triggering the middle wave, while you deal with the bottom wave. Then you can wipe out the middle wave at your leisure. So now Ledin no longer has a movement down, and we are able to move him into that spot. We're going to move Leon away. I'm going to move Ledin in. I'm going to get set up for the next turn. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So we've done this so many times that we honestly don't really need to communicate anymore. What we need to do, Champ is going to position his Bozo over here, and once he faction buffs, I know that we're going in on the next turn. So you can see from his Bozo that he brings Sleep as well as Fireball. The basic plan of attack for this next wave is that we will use Leon's Chivalry Assault combo to kill off both Jessica and the Mage, and the Bozo will actually sleep. Ledin so that he's not an issue. So we're just gonna wait as Josh has requested, because his Liana is not really in position to again his Leon. So that's where, so he's gonna faction buff with Bozo. Yep, that's our sign that we're gonna go in. Okay, good. As of now, it's currently 6 minutes. Using this method, we usually complete a joint battle in about 10 minutes or so. So it shouldn't be the long, painful, drawn-out process that it normally is. Okay, we are going to Chivalry Assault Jessica, mainly because the Phalanx troops that she has are very, very, very tanky. It's not because I'm doing very little damage, it's because of how thick they are. They have 23,000 health. And because we have a disadvantage against Phalanx troops, that resulted in that poor shoring. That relatively poor showing. You will see that if I attack the Mage General, we actually do manage to one-shot the Mage General with Chivalry on. So I'm going to stay put with Ledin. Again, we're not anywhere close to tanking. So now it's Champ's turn. He is going to attack Jessica with 2 attacks from Chivalry. That is enough to kill off Jessica with the stats that he has, which is about 1,300-ish damage, attack, sorry. Bozo's going to come down, he's going to sleep Ledin, as mentioned. So he's not an issue for this stage of the fight. You have to have some way to neutralize Ledin. Either you attack him or you sleep him. We prefer to sleep him because he has Sun Slash. So even if you do damage to him, if you don't happen to kill him off, he will heal himself back to full, which is rather annoying. Okay, so Ledin wakes up. 2 hits from Leon will be sufficient to send him to his grave, because we do have a type advantage with cavalry versus infantry. I've done most of the work, which means that it is now time to faction buff with Ledin. And I'm going to heal up with Liana, just so Leon's in tip-top shape for the last wave. With the resources that Champ has, he will be able to kill off Ledin. He has a Bozo, which hasn't attacked yet, and Ledin is weaker against magic attacks than he is against physical attacks. And he does have his Leon, which has finished off Ledin. So we're done with 3 out of 4 waves. So I'm going to trigger the last wave the next turn. So on the next turn, what we do is we position below, basically just below where Liana standing now, his Liana standing now. Oops, sorry. So instead of moving right, I'll move 1 down from the blocking spot and Divine Guard. And Liana's just going to prayer up and make everyone healthy. So I'm going to let his Liana sage up my Ledin, but it will be good for Ledin to have a sage buff. Okay, so Ledin gets sage. Angelica moves and triggers that wave. So you have an assassin attack Ledin, thankfully. It always likes to attack Ledin instead of Angelica, I'm not sure why. Die Hard doesn't reach us, the second assassin doesn't reach us, and the only attack that we have to tank besides the assassin is his heavy cavalry, which is child's play for Ledin and his Phalanx troops. So we are at the end. We will basically finish off this wave of enemies and we'll be good to go. Okay, good. So Leon comes here, Ledin comes over, attacks Die Hard for whatever that's worth. Deals quite significant damage, to the point where we actually almost fully heal him up. We're gonna again Leon, and heal Ledin at the same time. And we are going to kill off this assassin. So with both assassins down and the cavalry down, all that's needed is to finish off Die Hard. With 2 attacks from Leon, 1 attack from Bozo, that is definitely gonna happen. So this is how we do JB in just a little over 10 minutes. Champ is doing our usual JB chant to try to see whether we can get an SSR from JB. He's being funny by making a melee attack with Bozo. Come on, don't draw this out. Okay, so that's the end of the level 60 joint battle, Angelica's Guardians, for Friday and Saturday. Fairly straightforward. Your Ledin only needs about 500 or high 400 defense to tank that attack at the top. Oh wow, we get 1 SSR, not too shabby. Okay, good. Alright, so I hope you guys found that helpful. It's a 3 on now.